Hi friends, my name is Simplicity, and welcome to my second ever Dead by Daylight Killer tier list. So, as you can see, this is pretty much right after the 8.6.0 PTB, which featured Ken Kaneki, the Ghoul. Last time I did a tier list, it was the first time I had ever done it, and it was up until the unknown. So we've got these four babes here to include this time. Now, unlike last time, to get this out of the way, really quick, a couple things. First of all, timestamps. I'll have that in the description and probably the comments too, so that you can just jump to a specific killer if you'd like. But I want to make it super clear that last time I spent so much bloody time on every killer, and even though there's been changes on a good few of them since the All Things Wicked chapter, listen, your boy, I just don't have the time or energy or patience to go through every single one. I'm not Atstarva, okay? I don't have the willingness to go through every single one and discuss how viable they are in certain situations and everything. So this is what we're going to do, especially because I did that last time. So I'm going to kind of like breeze through pretty much all of them up until Vecna, because, and I might explain a little more on the unknown as well, but Vecna on these last four, they were not a part of my last tier list. So I'll dive into more depth on the four of them. And then here are our different tiers. We got S, A plus, A minus, B plus, B minus, C, and F. And then in terms of how we're ranking them, a couple of things to just keep in mind. I am going to basically do the same thing I did last time, in the sense that we're going to look at each killer as though they weren't running any perks. I know that perks are necessary in Dead by Daylight, and they really change a killer's viability. But I want to look at this just at each killer in their base form, is kind of what I'm looking at here. And I won't really be considering add-ons either, because one, because that would again take a long time, and two, because I don't know all of the add-ons that are noteworthy for every killer. So that's another reason why. But anyway, so we can kind of zoom through. Once we get here, we'll get in more depth, but feel free to skip to a specific killer if you'd like to. So, also, last point, if you disagree with any of my picks, placements, please let me know in the comments. If you disagree, please say something. The engagement that I get when people disagree is beautiful. You know what I mean? Like, it just sends my video to more people, and I get more views and comments and engagement, and my community grows when people disagree with me. So if you agree with me, feel free to say something too. But I don't want the disagreeers to shy away. You know what I mean? I welcome disagreement because it means more comments. Anyway, let's start with our boy Evan. Okay? I might give a very brief explanation for most of them. He's thick, he's got traps, and he's garbage. Okay? If you didn't already know that, bless your soul. He may be the face of Dead by Daylight, but in terms of like viable execution and gameplay, bro's been at the bottom of the barrel for a fat minute, and I don't necessarily anticipate that'll change. He'll need some big changes in order to get higher up, so he is debatable to be the worst, in my opinion, right now. There are a few other contenders, but he's going to sit very comfortably in F. Moving on to our boy Philip, he's less thick, but he's kind of lean, you know. We kind of love that for him. Our boy's got a bell. He's been traumatized, okay, and he can go almost invisible, go faster, break things quickly, all the jazz, all the good stuff. I feel comfortable putting our boy Philip in B+. So, yeah, okay, moving on to the Hillbilly. Ever since his overdrive thing, our boy is looking as crusty as ever, but faster than he once was. And he's going to sit comfortably in one of these two. Not totally sure which one, to be honest. I feel like he probably sits here. So we're gonna do that. If I need to move anyone along the way, I will. Also, I will be ordering them in a very specific order in each tier as well, as an FYI. I hate it when people are like, "Oh, freaking Huntress is A plus and puts her here right behind Billy when really they might think that she's better than Billy, but they just put her here. Like, no, put her above Billy if you think that. She's not better than Billy in my opinion, but we'll get to that. Anyway, nurse. If you feel a need to contest that, I would recommend a therapist. Anyway, so Michael Myers, also thick. That knife is thick. Don't quote me on that. Anyway, he did get a little stronger since his last buff. With that said, though, he probably still sits around here. I would have put him here, or even here. And maybe this is controversial. You can suck my toe if you disagree. So, and we might move him, but I'm gonna sit him there for now. Our boy can stalk, and now it's more from a distance than up close, in the sense that he tears up faster and gets more stalked the farther away he is, which is more canon, and I kind of love that for him, you know. Anyway, he's not very personable. Moving on to, I think her name is Lisa. Yeah, I don't know. Hag, she's one of my least favorite killers in the game. Hate her. Any Hag enjoyers? Sorry, not sorry. She sucks. And not in like the viability way. Now, granted, she's not as strong as she once was. She used to be comfortably up here. I don't think that's the case anymore. Now I would put her maybe around here. Maybe like bottom of A plus, A minus. Maybe. We'll have to see. We'll play her by ear. Don't really want to play her in any way ever. But anyway, okay, Herman. Herman, is that his name? I don't know. The doctor, also looking real crusty, could use some lotion. Also a therapist. So I'm thinking maybe here, ish. I've actually always kind of had a hard time between Wraith and Doctor. I'm gonna be so real. It's a toss-up between our two boys. Our two beautiful boys. Beautiful might be a little generous. But anyway, I'm going to sit him here. He could be a little stronger, but I think people sleep on Wraith. I'm going to be real. Huntress is very comfortably sitting in one of these two. She's a queen. She's a baddie. She's throwing them hatchets. And she's got a high skill ceiling, which I love for her. I'm going to sit her here in A+. I don't know if I would put her above Billy. I think she's more versatile than Billy. I think Billy might have a higher lethality. We could interchange these. I'm going to sit her here for now, though. I always forget her name. Anyway, Anna, maybe? Something like that. Anyway, our boy Bubba. Maybe here-ish. Boy's got a saw. He's got two saws. Just kidding. He's got one saw. Okay. I also don't particularly enjoy playing against Bubbas. You got to be a certain kind of breed to actively play Bubba often, you know? To each their own. No judgment. We listen and we sometimes judge. Anyway. Between Bubba and Philip, I think I'm gonna sit Bubba above Doctor, which some of you will probably disagree with. For Wraith though, this is actually a toss up because this Pokemon soundtrack goes so hard. Anyway, I kind of think once again Bubba has more lethality, while Philip I think has more versatility. I'm gonna sit Bubba here. He could go higher. I'm gonna be real. Freddy, this is one of the more interesting killers to rank right now because he just got a really big buff. And I've played him a couple times, and I've played against him a couple times, and I'm honestly unsure. I'm not gonna go over all the changes. Go look at it yourself. Because he's had a bunch of them, and I don't want to go over all of them right now. Sorry, not sorry. Womp womp. I think I want to put him here in A-. That's what I'm thinking. His new snares and palettes are sick. They're fun. They're way more viable. I think I'm going to set him here for now. And that feels pretty good to me. I could see an argument of him being higher or even lower. It kind of just depends against the team. Oh, by the way, forgot to mention at the beginning, oops. We're also kind of assuming that every killer is going against a decent team. Like a team that knows what they're doing. They're not the sweatiest of Swifts, but they're not solo queue that run around and do literally nothing. Okay, so like it's a team that they're coherent, they know the objective, they stick to the objective, but they're not sweat lords. You know what I mean? For the most part, maybe one or two. So with that in mind, I'm gonna stick him here. Amanda, Amanda. Girl, I feel like girl's been sitting near the bottom for a minute. She could use some love. I would love to see the pig get like an actual good buff that really kind of like makes her kit feel super dangerous. Because yes, you've got moments that are dangerous. Um, that's about all I can say though. I was about to say she's a baddie, but I'm gay, so eh. Anyway, I feel like she sits pretty comfortably in C. I'm gonna be real with you. Okay, clown. Listen, I my last tier list, I got so much pushback for my clown position. If I'm not mistaken, I put him like at second to last time. And even though I still back some of what I was saying previously, where I think I enjoy going against Clown because I've never had an issue going against Clown, even like really, really good ones. Um, Clown is better than I gave him credit for. So I'll give you all that. And I would probably put him maybe here, is what I'm thinking for now. And there's going to be other killers down here too. He could go even up here. Like the highest I would willingly put him is around here or here, like before or after Bubba. Personally, though, I've found more lethality with both Doctor and Bubba over Clown. In my personal experience. You are welcome to disagree. And once again, if you do, comment, because I got so many comments on Clown in my last video, and it propelled that video, let me tell you what. So if you disagree, say something. Anyway, we're probably gonna sit my brother right here, like bottom of B plus, top of B minus, in that range. So not at the bottom, but I wouldn't put him up here with Wraith and Hag, you know? Spirit is still strong as hell. She's sitting pretty comfortably up here. Between these three, it's once again, maps really matter. Really for all three of them. For these two more than Spirit, I think. But and maybe for that reason, I could see why someone would even put Spirit here. Personally, when I'm going up against a really, really, really good Billy, I find that to be a little more threatening than a really good Spirit, but it's debatable. This is everything that I'm going to have up here at the top is going to be a toss up, and there's an argument for one being above the other or below. But I think the Spirit fits pretty comfortably here. I think she just has great map pressure, great anti loop. You get it. She's her, and we love that for her. So we're gonna sit her here for now. Legion. I'm gonna be real. I think last time I don't remember where I put Legion, but I think I put Legion higher than I should have. Over the last year, my opinion on Legion, I do not consider Legion to be all that great. I would put Legion like here-ish, maybe in here even, because sure, map pressure is kind of a thing for Legion, you know, but lethality is just not it. And even in Feral Frenzy, if survivors are just patient, it's counterable. And if they work together, it's counterable, you know? So, I mean, it's like Legion could kind of go anywhere in here-ish. I'm going to place Legion here, maybe like bottom of B minus. It could go top of C. We might move Legion later, but we'll sit Legion there for now. Let's move on to our girl Plague. In my opinion, people sleep on Plague, and I think Plague is actually really, really strong. I would put Plague at least here. could even go here. I think Plague is just the best of both worlds. You know what I mean? Like lose-lose situation for survivors in the sense that if they don't cleanse, then heal their sickness, then they're all injured. Sure, she's an M1 killer, but an M1 killer against permanently injured survivors, it's like, that's doable. Then if they do, she becomes one of the most lethal ranged killers in the game. So this is tough because I think the Plague is strong. I'm gonna put Plague here. I think the Huntress is a bit more versatile given different maps. We're gonna set Plague there for now. That could change, but I feel pretty good about that. But boy, Danny kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie. I would put Danny maybe here or here. I like Danny's power. He's fun, but he also feels so bad sometimes. And certain maps really, really suck. And one of the biggest issues is that right now Ghostface can just get broken out so damn easily from ridiculous angles and from distances that don't seem like it should be possible given some of his updates. But here we are. And to clarify, it is possible to get 4Ks with any killer on this list, even Evan, who currently is at the bottom. But just comparatively to everyone else. I would put Ghostface around here. One could consider Ghostface to be stronger than Legion. I think it's kind of a toss-up, but I feel pretty good about putting Ghostface above Pig, I think. Even that's debatable, but we're going to sit Danny here for now. Also, I'm sorry, but bro is hot under that mask. Moving on, Demogorgon. I've always kind of felt like Demogorgon is middle of the road type of guy, type of girly, And oh, oops, my bad. Hold up. Like, I kind of want to sit him here-ish, is what I'm thinking. I've been seeing some people putting him, like, down here, and I have to disagree. Because bro still has some looping potential. It's counterable, and he has okay map pressure. Better than some. It's kind of a toss-up between Hag and... I think Hag is probably still more oppressive than Demogorgon, to be real. I'm going to sit Demogorgon here. He could go a little lower, but I'm going to sit my boy here. He doesn't have a ton in his kit, but he has enough that with a lot of practice, it can be, it can be pretty lethal, so I feel pretty good about that. Okay. My boy, Oni. Oni's pretty damn strong. I don't play Oni very often, so I'm relying more on the times I've played against him and gameplay I've seen of really good Oni players. And so I always struggle with Oni because Oni is strong, but up against a good team that can really delay that first hit. I mean, eventually that first hit will come in play, and then snowball potential for the Oni is pretty big. But what do y'all think? What do you think for our thick boy? I do still think Oni is stronger than Freddy. I think that could be contested, maybe. Oni stronger than Freddy. Is Oni stronger or more viable than Plague? This is a toss-up for me, actually. I think Plague is really slept on, and she works in almost any and every situation. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and place Oni just above Plague. I feel pretty good about that. And we might bump Plague down to A-, but we'll see. But I feel good about that for now. I think Oni just has a lot of lethality, and even though it can be prevented for a while, his snowball potential is pretty strong. Like, even if he doesn't get anything for the first 2 or even 3 gens, so long as he gets his power, then it becomes possible for him to make a comeback. And not every killer has that type of potential. And I think that's noteworthy. Once again, brother's looking good under that mask. Moving on. Deathslinger. Deathslinger, once again, kind of giving middle of the road vibes. I think I would sit him around here-ish, roughly. We could put him above Demo. It's hard to say. I mean, he's one of the range killers that's a bit more unique in the sense that it's probably the fastest range attack in the game, but it doesn't go quite as far as some of the others. Once again, you know, some of the trick shots you can get with Slinger are pretty nasty, but good survivors can definitely counter it. So, honestly, I'm going to give Philip some credit. I'm going to put Deathslinger right here. Sue me. Anyway, Pyramid Head, my boy, he has basically still is my main. I haven't been playing as much of him recently, but I love our boy Pyramid Head. He's always been one of my favorite killers. And for me, Pyramid Head is interesting because he works pretty well on the majority of maps, despite the fact that he doesn't have great map pressure. But he's got amazing anti-loop. He also can negate pretty much every hook-related survivor perk, which is great. He's never really fallen off. His add-ons are dog shit, to be honest. I have a hard time comparing him to Plague. This is tough. I'm gonna sit Pyramid Head here at the top of A minus because I think teams who, you know, one of the biggest counters to Pyramid Head is just holding forward. The moment you know he's getting close, just run. Wasting his time, doing everything in your power to get him to miss those M2 Punishment of the Damned attack hits really, really makes a Executioner player suffer. So I think he's good, and even these two, it's a toss-up. I'm going to set him here for now because I think his anti-loop is just stronger than Freddy's. But once again, that's contestable. Even though the pyramid is his head, if he had a head under it. Whew. Anyway, Talbot Grimes, the Blight. Yeah. What is there to say? I know that there are some who would even, like, put Billy here. I still think Blight is second strongest in the game. Billy could sit in S. You know what? We might. I don't know. Tickle me in the titty. I don't know. So Blight is gonna sit here. If you need to know why, go watch Starva explain. Okay. Anyway, my boy is him. So I'm like Loki, just trying to figure out: do we want Billy at the top of A plus or maybe the bottom of S? Screw it in the butthole. Let's put him in bottom of S. Twins is strong. She's slept on, or they are slept on, but strong as hell. Like maybe around here, or even here. Twins is really, really strong, really viable. Good on almost any map. We don't see very many strong twin players out there, but when they do show up, they, you know, they mark their territory. Love that for them. So I'm thinking maybe here, right behind Oni. Once again, this is Spirit, excuse me, Twins could kind of be anywhere in here is what I'm thinking. But I'm thinking here, just above Plague. But you could make an argument that Plague is stronger. I'm kind of a Plague simp, but not in a straight way. So it's hard to say. But we're going to leave Twins here and love that for them. Moving on. Trickster can go jump off a cliff. I hate Trickster. In terms of strength, maybe here-ish? Lower? I don't know. I actually think the Living Lord. I haven't played against the Trickster in a while, actually. It's been like a few weeks, maybe. By chance. Because I play Dead by Daylight pretty much every day. A really good Trickster, even against a decent team, I would say could be more viable than a Bubba, even. Maybe this is controversial. I could see some people putting my boy down here. I'm going to put Trickster here. I actually am curious to know what y'all think of this placement for Trickster. Would y'all put Trickster lower? I wouldn't put Trickster any higher than this. But I feel like I'm being a little generous. I could see myself putting Trickster like here. And I would be okay with that. I've gone against like if the good doctors I've gone against, the good Bubbas I've gone against. I feel like I've actually had a harder time against Trickster. The only thing is we're gonna put my boy down here. The only thing about Trickster is it could just be that I struggle personally against Tricksters, and maybe most people don't, and so he should be lower. So I'm torn about this placement, but that's where I'm gonna sit him for now. I actually am interested to see what y'all think about this spot for Trickster. Nemi, my big hunk of meat. Okay. Nemi, since his buff, I would say he's quite a bit better than he once was. Honestly, maybe around here. And I could move Hag maybe to the bottom of A minus. Because Hag isn't as good. Hag at one point in time used to be here, genuinely. But let's put Hag here at the bottom of A minus for now. I think Nemesis, this is a good spot. I think Nemesis and Demogorgon are comparable. I think ever since the Nemesis buff, he's felt really good to play, especially for really good Nemesis players. I really enjoy playing Nemesis. I'm not amazing with him, but I feel like now, in comparison to before his big buff, which I don't remember when it was. I know it wasn't that long ago, but you rarely feel a difference between his tiers, between his infection rates, and I think that is notable. Infection rate, that's what it's called, I think. I don't know. But level 3 of his power, you really feel like you're actually making a difference and can pull through. So I'm gonna put Nemesis here. This is probably, maybe, I don't know, screw your opinion. Just kidding. Give it to me in the comments, please. Pinhead. He came, and now bro's leaving. That's a fat rip. The announcement was just the other day. Anyway, I think Pinhead's pretty strong. I feel pretty good putting him somewhere in here, I think. The new Freddy might, honestly, the new Freddy could be stronger than this version of Pinhead. But I feel like some Pinhead enjoyers are going to come for me in the comments for this, and not in the good type of coming. Anyway, don't quote me on that. Anyway, I think I might put him here, but he could even sit up here. That's a tough one for me. I'm gonna sit my boy here. That feels pretty good to me. Artist is still strong as hell. In my opinion, good artist players are sitting up here, honestly, in the A+. The map pressure, the high skill ceiling, shutting down loops like it's nobody's business. In my opinion, the artist is honestly probably one of the best anti-looping killers in the game. There's an argument to put her here even. I don't think I will. I think Huntress can still feel a little more oppressive, but it's debatable. I'm going to go ahead and place her here. I might be giving the Huntress too much credit, but I just think the artist slaps. I really do. Okay, Onryo. This is a tough one for me. I actually really enjoy playing the Onryo. I do not think Sadako... she's undergone so many changes. And where she's at right now, once again, feel free to disagree with me. I feel like she's in a decent spot balance-wise. But she ain't it. I've gone against some crazy Sadako players though. With certain playstyles, even if we're not looking at any perks or add-ons, but without add-ons, she suffers, man. I'm kind of thinking maybe around here. Also, am I giving Doctor too much credit? Why did I have Doctor so high? That's such a weird take. Honestly, yeah. Dr. Loki belongs down here. Yeah. Yeah, that feels pretty good. Clown, Kenneth, whatever the hell his name is, I'll give you some credit. You can kind of be the gatekeeper for B minus. Sadako feels pretty good. Listen, I feel like these two, it's kind of tough. I'm sure a lot of you would be like, oh my gosh, Herman is so much better than Sadako. And yeah, I can see that. I also think when I'm thinking about really good players for each of them, screw it. Yeah. We'll give the Doctor the edge. I think Sadako has her moments. Also, I love how here it low-key looks like she's the one holding the knife. Not really, but anyway. Like I think of what's his name? Oh, Ballsacks. There's a streamer that I watch. He's a P100 Sadako main, and he's incredible. And I feel like he really showcases how good she can be. And now I just need to know. One Pump Willie. Yes, One Pump Willie is fantastic. Go check him out. He's a P100 Sadako main, and I've never seen anyone play Doctor as well as he plays Sadako. But I just think Doctor, if we're talking without perks, without add-ons, I think Doctor maybe has an edge. Hard to say, though. Anyway, Dredge. Once again, I kind of struggle with Dredge, especially without perks and without add-ons. Y'all might disagree with me, but I think Dredge... my boy struggles. Like... Listen, don't castrate me. I could put him here. One could make the argument that he could be like here-ish. Man, bless his fleshy heart, if he has one, or it. I don't know. I don't know for Dredge. This one's tough. He has anti-loop. He has map pressure. The problem is, however, that his map pressure is extremely map dependent. Some maps cook him, and he just struggles. And again, without certain add-ons that help with teleport speed, that help with exiting the locker faster, that help with different nighttime related numbers and advantages, I don't know. So you know what? Screw me in the butt. Bro's sitting down here. I'm just going to be so real. I just think without a viable perk plan or combo and add-ons, he really, really struggles. The Mastermind, Wesker, Daddy Wesky. I'm thinking somewhere around here. My boy has decent map pressure, decent chase. In my opinion, Wesker is honestly one of the most balanced killers in the game, actually. And I'm really happy with where he's at. Like, of all the killers that I would change or tweak, he's one of the last killers that I would do anything to. I think he's in a great spot. I think he's probably around here. One could make the argument that maybe Freddy should be a little higher. But I'm going to go ahead and place him here. Yeah, that's tough, but we're going to sit with this. Knight. Once again, this is a tough one. I do think Knight, despite the fact that he's had so many bugs, I think Knight is a little stronger than maybe some people give him credit for. Like, I'm thinking maybe here-ish, or even, like, here. That's kind of... Well... I think a good Nemesis player kind of eats. This is tough. This is what I'm thinking. I think being able to double team in a chase is a big deal. But once again, there's counters, especially if survivors are working together. So this is where I'm going to sit my boy. Let me know what y'all think. This is another one that I'm curious, kind of like the Trickster. Tell me what y'all think about this placement, because I'm unsure about it. I used to play a lot of Knight, actually. I don't as much anymore. So this is what I'm thinking, but this is kind of debatable, in my opinion, once again. There's a special place in hell for you. Singularity, just kidding, we'll say a few things. Just because I hate her... And she's going down in F without question. She really is horrible. I've seen so many people make arguments that she belongs at the literal bottom. And if I'm being completely honest with you, I could see an argument made that she could have a place above Evan. But man, just out of spite. If you are a Skull Merchant enjoyer, once again, feel free to comment something. I would love to know that you exist, first of all. And second of all, I'd love to hear why this placement is wrong. Or if it's right, why it's right. Because I do understand, I have an understanding of where she is at in terms of her gameplay. So I'm not, I know a lot of people are pretty oblivious to how she actually works right now. And the fact of the matter is that her, a lot of survivors might struggle because they just don't know how to play against her drones. Like, they genuinely don't know how she works. And at the end of the day, her drones are so incredibly useless. Yes, you can get use out of them. They're not actually useless. But it takes so much unnecessary precision on the killer's part to get actual value, arguably more precision than a trapper's trap. And to me, that level of setup and that level of forward thinking for this killer is just, it's so exhausting. Her drones just feel like a sad excuse. I'm not going to go through and try to explain her whole power, because again, I don't want to take the time. But I do think she's probably the worst killer in the game. Singularity. I have seen some crazy takes on the Singularity. And by crazy, I mean people putting him down here. I think the Singularity is strong as hell. In fact, I would put him like up here-ish. You could even make an argument that he's stronger than that. I'm going to put him here. This is where I feel good placing him, maybe just around Wesker and Pyramid Head. I think he has more map pressure than both of these guys, but I don't think he's quite as viable in chase as Pyramid Head is. But with his overclocked mode, I think he and Wesker are comparable. Once again, I kind of keep going back and referencing Freddy because with the new change, I've played him and he's strong. Like, literally, some of you might say that Freddy should be up here, and maybe he should. And I would accept that criticism. Because Freddy is just, I don't know. We're going to leave Freddy there. Okay, Xenomorph. Once again, there's been some interesting takes on Xenomorph recently. I know a lot of people have been talking about how Xenomorph could comfortably sit like around here-ish. I do think Xenomorph, even when survivors know like the double turret tech, maybe that's not a tech, but using double turrets, like, yeah, that sucks. But I still think, even with that, and maybe this is me speaking out of my actual butthole, but I think Xenomorph belongs somewhere here-ish. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Maybe... Nah, he's got better map pressure. Maybe around here? You could even say stronger. I don't know. I'm torn because, like, I saw Otstarva when he last did a tier list, and he ranked Xenomorph pretty low. I'm gonna rank Xenomorph around here-ish, I think. But again, there's an argument to be made. You know what? F it. I'm putting Xenomorph here. Also, we're gonna go ahead and put Dredge at the top of B-. Just move him down there. Yeah, I'm gonna set Xenomorph here. I think Xenomorph has great map pressure, provided that you don't commit to a chase for too long. Obviously, the double turret is a great counter, but if survivors aren't aware of that, or they're not being consistent with it, his anti-looping ability is just really strong. And even when survivors know what to do against it, if the killer is on top of it, they'll do okay. You know what I mean? And maybe you disagree with me, and if you do, I honestly think there's some validity there. I understand why Xenomorph would be lower. This is where I feel good putting Xenomorph, so yeah. Okay, Chucky. What a fall from grace. Chucky used to be here. Ish. No longer. I don't think Chucky absolutely sucks, but I do think Chucky is like here-ish, and I'm not even kidding. And I think some people would put him even lower. Some people would put him here. I don't think he's the weakest. I think if we're talking even no add-ons and perks, I actually think Chucky will probably do better than some of these other killers here. Once again, maybe I feel like every time I put a killer above Clown that I'm like, but Clown though, is Clown better than Chucky, y'all? Screw it. I think Clown might be better than current Chucky. Chucky is just bad. He really is. Yeah. I think this is where we're gonna sit it. This is kind of what I'm feeling. You know, tickling the ivories. Anyway, okay, so the rest of the killers, we're gonna give a little bit more of an explanation as to how they work. And that will start with the Unknown, because the Unknown was the most recent killer I did on my last tier list. And I didn't really, I mean, I did explain, but it was fresh and it was new. So first and foremost, I just want to kind of get the Unknown's placement out of the way. I think the Unknown is strong. I don't think the Unknown is up here. I would put the Unknown here-ish. Maybe here. That's what I'm thinking for Unknown. Maybe right above the Hag. So the Unknown will periodically leave hallucinations. Just as you're playing. These little hallucinations will drop. And they look like the Unknown. And survivors can get rid of them by doing a small interaction. But the Unknown can teleport to these hallucinations from anywhere on the map, and very quickly. So the Unknown has decent map pressure. The Unknown's primary ability, UVX, is a shooter thing out of its stomach that shoots this little purple glob that can go at a decent distance, actually. And when if it goes, it can bounce off walls. And when it lands on the floor, it explodes in a small radius. If a survivor is in that radius when it explodes, that survivor becomes weakened. Nothing really happens to that survivor while they're weakened, but if they're weakened, they are vulnerable to being injured by that same attack later. So if a survivor is weakened in chase, after the cooldown is done, the Unknown can send out another one of these little grenade blob things, and if the blast area hits the survivor, they take damage. And you can down survivors this way as well. Survivors can stare down the Unknown. That's how they get rid of the weakened status effect. And I think the Unknown is, once again, I really like where the Unknown is at, balance-wise. I feel like the Demogorgon and the Unknown are both just, like, they just feel good where they're at. I think the Unknown is a little bit stronger than some of these other killers. Especially because I think the Unknown can feel pretty viable on most maps as well. I don't think the Unknown is terribly map-dependent. But I don't think the Unknown has the same lethality as the killers above this point. You know what I mean? So we're going to sit the Unknown here for now. Moving on to the killers that I didn't even rank the last time, because they're all new, and I'm actually excited. So we have Vecna, aka the Lich from Dungeons & Dragons. So Vecna is a tough one. I really like Vecna. I play a lot of Vecna. I think he's really, really fun. He has a ton of versatility. I think Vecna sits around here. Roughly, is what I think. It's contestable, if that's a word, but this is where I would put Vecna. So this is how Vecna works. Vecna has spells, a spell book, 4 of them, and he can switch through these spells, so long as they're not on cooldown. One of them is Mage Hand. He can cast this on pallets. Upright pallets will be held in place for a couple seconds, so survivors can't drop them while in chase. It can also pull up down to pallets, which could be viable in certain circumstances, especially with the right add-ons. He has a Dispelling Sphere spell. Survivors can't see this unless they have a certain item that allows them to. And it's this sphere that goes across the map, covers a certain amount of, it has a certain diameter, radius. And if survivors are caught in this orb, they will be revealed by Killer Instinct. And any items that they have magic items, which I'll get to in a second, will be disabled. So that's great for information. He also has a fly spell. Now, he does fly, but it's more of like a hover, and he just moves a lot faster. And in this state, he only goes for a couple seconds. It's not very long. But he can go over pallets and through windows. When he does so, it stops the fly animation. So that's a great way to make distance. And then his last spell is not Punishment of the Damned, that's Pyramid Head. I'm forgetting what it's called. But he can send out, I think it's 4 at base. He can send out these skeletons, and they're at height levels. Like if a survivor is standing, they go pretty quick at a decent distance. I don't remember how many meters, and they kind of spread out. And they will injure survivors on impact, and they can go through any collision. Survivors can crouch to dodge them. So it takes a little bit of precision and skill to be able to land that attack. And then survivors, there's chests throughout the map when you play as Vecna. And survivors can go to one of these chests, roll a d20, and then depending on what they get, they will get, like what they roll, they will get a different magic item. And these magic items basically will give survivors info on when Vecna is using one of his 4 spells. And those are the items that Vecna can disable by using his Dispelling Sphere. So Vecna has a lot of versatility. I think at a high level, he performs pretty well. Without add-ons and perks, though, he can be a struggle. And there's an argument to be had for putting him lower. Like, I could see someone putting him here, and I would understand. I'm going to put him around here. I think his versatility, and he has a decent amount of lethality if you use his spells really effectively, and, use them in mind game situations. So I feel pretty good putting him here. He could go a little lower. I wouldn't put him any higher, that's for sure. Like, this is the highest that he would go. Though there's an argument he could be lower. Okay, moving on to Dracula. Also a killer I play almost all the time. Dracula, I feel comfortable putting all the way up here, top of A+. I think Dracula is strong on every map. I don't think he's terribly map dependent. I think he has a pretty high skill ceiling. He has a ton of versatility, and he's fun. Like, he kind of has it all. In my opinion, he's another incredibly well-designed killer that feels balanced, but that can still be countered. Like, each of his different forms, so I'll explain how he works. He has his power is Vampiric Shift, and he has 3 different forms. He has his basic vampire form, which is this form, and in this form he has a Hellfire spell where he can launch pillars of fire ahead of him, and I think it's 7 meters, I believe. It's very similar to Pyramid Head, except for the fact that it doesn't go through any collision, only shorter obstacles, like shorter loops. And that's pretty strong. It doesn't have, the cooldown is fine. And then he has Wolf form. In this form, he can track survivors. Survivors leave these little scent orbs that you can see. And when the wolf picks up those orbs, it gets some haste. And then the wolf also has the ability to do a pounce attack, and it's very much like Wesker in the sense that this pounce attack you can do one and then immediately do a second one, and it doesn't grab the survivor or anything, just bite them and injure them, but it's pretty damn strong. And then lastly, he has a bat form, and in this form, the Dark Lord, as he's called, it's very much like Spirit, moves faster, can't see survivors, but can hear them, can see blood, can see scratch marks. But unlike the Spirit, the bat is not invisible, but no terror radius. You can just hear kind of like a bat noise lullaby type thing. And lastly, while in bat form, Dracula can teleport to windows or down pallets, which also, helps with map pressure. So I think Dracula is kind of just the best of every world. He's got the map pressure, he's got anti-loop, he's got versatility for different kinds of loops, he's fun, and he's strong. I think he just has it all. And his skill ceiling is really high. So I feel good putting Dracula here. Down to the last 2, we got the Houndmaster. The Houndmaster I'm gonna be real. I actually don't remember what the last update was for Houndmaster, but I do think the Houndmaster is quite strong. Where? I'm thinking this is tough, man. Like, there's an argument to put Houndmaster up here. I'm thinking of putting Houndmaster around here-ish. Man, that's tough. Because really, Houndmaster could sit comfortably in this range. Yeah. I think so. Okay, so Houndmaster, this is how the Houndmaster works. I think we're going to sit Houndmaster around here for now. So the Houndmaster has her doggo, as you can see, and she has two commands, a search command and a chase command. The search command sends out the dog to a position at a certain distance, but she can also send the dog to any generator or exit gate, no matter the distance, and the dog will go there and will leave a path. The Houndmaster can follow this path, and if she is on the path, she'll get really good haste. And as the dog moves, when you send the dog out to search, a little radius will expand on the dog the farther the dog goes. If any survivors come in contact with that radius as the dog is searching, they will be tagged with Killer Instinct, and they will be affected by Hound Sense. Basically what that means is that with the next ability, Chase, while the Houndmaster is in Chase, she can send the dog out in like a straight line, and it kind of shows you the line the dog will go in. And then you can control the dog, kind of like Wesker or Dracula's wolf, to like go in a different direction and then go again. If the dog grabs a survivor while it's running, it will grab that survivor, and the survivor won't be able to run away, and we'll have to try and get rid of the dog. If the survivor is afflicted by Hound Sense from the search mechanic, and then is hit by the dog, they will be hindered, I believe. And inflicted with deep wound as well, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But the reason the Houndmaster is so strong is because she has great anti-loop, primarily speaking. If you throw a pallet in the Houndmaster's face, she can send the dog, and the dog will jump right over the pallet almost instantly, even without add-ons, and grab you. And she will have time to break the pallet and injure you before you can get away, or down you. She feels quite oppressive, and there is reason to put her even higher. I'm going to sit her here. I totally respect and understand anyone wanting to put her higher than this, though. I don't want to put her lower, though. This is like the lowest I'd be willing to put her. But that's what we're going to put Portia, Miss Houndmaster. And this leads us to the final killer, the newest killer, which I still can't even quite believe this is real. I'm definitely a Tokyo Ghoul fan. Ken Kaneki from the PTB that dropped literally yesterday. Super, super exciting. So I just want to say this right off the gate that can't put him back. Right off the gate that Ken, this is a first impression. This is PTB, as of recording this, and hopefully when this video comes out, we don't know what the devs will or won't do. And I have learned quite a bit more about his power over today, because today is literally the day of the PTB. Like this morning it dropped, and I've been playing him throughout the majority of the day. I had no idea what I was doing in the video I recorded reacting to the chapter, and in that video I said, based off of my lack of knowledge, that he would be down here somewhere, and that could not be farther from the truth. As I've been watching other people playing him, and as I've been playing him, he feels really, really strong. And so fun. Like, I would put him, like, not up here. He's not the strongest of the strong. But I would comfortably put him, like, here. Like, top of A-. One could make an argument that he's even stronger. So let me explain how the Ghoul works. I'm going to put him here for now, but I might move him as I talk about him. So, the Ghoul has a Kagune. Akagune are these tentacles that come out of his back. And he can latch on to vertical objects, walls, things like that, trees or whatever. He can latch onto them at a distance and then launch himself forward. And he can do this twice in a row, which, great map pressure. Once again, kind of think like Wesker bound a little bit. If on the second consecutive leap is what they're called Kagune leaps. So if you do one leap at a survivor, let's say, it doesn't do anything other than give you some distance, I guess. You can injure survivors by leaping once on an object nearby and then leaping again at the survivor. Then the survivor will be injured, and they will have the deep wound status effect as well. And if you attack someone this way, you enter enraged mode. And in enraged mode, the ghoul can do 3 leaps as opposed to just 2, which gives him more versatility in chase and gives him amazing map pressure and mobility. Like he is so fast. His mobility is crazy. He's not the most lethal killer in the game, but he's very fast. I think right now, and that's more or less it for his power. I could be forgetting something. I think that's it though. I think because survivors have not properly learned how to counter his ability yet, I think that there's a chance that as we see survivors really learn how to counter him, he could lower a little bit. Maybe. But conversely, as players really learn how to master the versatility of his leaps, he could even be stronger than this. I'm putting him here just to kind of like play it safe. I feel like he's damn strong. And also, screw you, Lisa. I'm not sure I want you there. No, that's fine. Anyway. So yeah, I feel pretty good about putting Ken here. Again, there's arguments for either direction. This is where I feel good. And I don't anticipate that the devs on live release, which is April 2nd, will buff him. Mainly because, at least as it stands from my perspective, if they were to buff him, he'd be up in this range, which, I don't think that's a problem. He feels great where he's at, in my opinion. And maybe he is already up here and I'm misjudging him, but this is where I feel pretty good about placing Ken right now. Let me know what you think about the Ghoul, just generally speaking, and also where I've placed him, because I think it's a tough one. It is a tough one. One thing I will say, and I'll kind of close out with this, he is one of the most fun killers that Dead by Daylight has released in a while. Not to say that, the Houndmaster is kind of fun. I think Dracula and Vecna are both very fun. I love them. And I think the Unknown is a great killer too. Like, man, Ken Kaneki is enjoyable to play. Like, even, there were a couple matches I wasn't doing very well and I still was having a good time. And maybe that's just because he's fresh, he's new into the game. But he's such a dub. He's a huge dub, and we love to see it. So this is where I feel he belongs now. But let me know what you think in the comments. So with all of that, here is the final list. I think that there is plenty of arguments for a vast majority of these killers to be moved. Once again, if you disagree with me, that's fine. Let me know, because it boosts my engagement. But also, if you did disagree with me, tell me why. And I actually am interested to know. I think, there were lots of interesting takes on my last tier list video that really got me thinking about different killers and how I felt about their placement. What I really want to know from y'all, there's a few killers in particular I'm curious to hear your thoughts on. One of them is Trickster. I'm just so uncertain about my placement for him. Let me know what y'all think, if he should be higher or lower. Same thing for Freddy. I feel like with his new change, one could make the argument that he should be higher. Not really any lower than this, I'd say, but maybe higher, so I'm curious about that. And then lastly, just Ken Kaneki, the Ghoul. Let me know what you think about the Ghoul placement. Obviously, he'll have some tweaks and changes going into live release. But those 3 killers in particular, I'm really interested in hearing y'all's thoughts on, because I wasn't very confident. So anyway, I don't think I'm going to link my other tier list, because that was a year ago, and some of my opinions have changed and updated since then. Feel free to check it out if you want to. What I will link is some of my Dead by Daylight chapter concepts. I love to make concepts for licensed characters and IPs that are not in the game yet, so feel free to check those out. I actually just did one for Tokyo Ghoul. the day before it came out, because there were rumors that it was going to be Tokyo Ghoul, so I thought let's make my own concept and kind of see what my thoughts are on it. So I will link some of those concepts here. Feel free to go check those out. I have a Slenderman concept, a Babadook concept, the Tokyo Ghoul concept. And yeah, so feel free to check those out. Again, let me know what y'all's thoughts are in the comments. I would love, 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 love to hear them. I don't typically ask anyone to like and subscribe because I think it's stupid. If you like the video, you'll do that. So yeah. Anyway, remember, have courage and be kind, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.